Hey guys, gals, gays, and theys. This is going to be something new for us here at Podcast. We've decided, and by we, I mean the collective, Albert, Vance, and I, have decided that this year we're going to really engage with you. We're going to pivot a bit from just being creators, content creators, to actually engaging with our newfound audience. We are just shy of 1,000 subscribers. So if you can help us get past that first hurdle, we would greatly appreciate it. Onwards and upwards, as I say. This is a series of weekly check ins that I will be doing with you. Sometimes Vance will join, maybe Albert might join, but we're going to be checking in with you a week and basically just say what's been going on with us in the week. I will let you know who is coming up for the next week's guest that we will be speaking to, what their works are about. I will let you know that we just concluded, as of this Saturday, a recording with author by the name of Zachary Pace, who wrote a book that I will put up here so you can see it, that is about his journey in identifying with his queerness through divas that have been in the music industry. And he chose some really interesting singers that some of them I had not heard of, but I knew of them. Um, and so we had a really great discussion about that and about the difference in generations, like people from my generation who would have been the divas as opposed to his. So it's kind of an interesting conversation, even from that perspective. So definitely check out that when it gets released. Again, his name was Zachary Pace. We also have J.M. Fry, who will be releasing this weekend sometime. So those will be coming out very shortly. But as an ongoing part of this series of a weekly check-in, I'll be recording them on Saturdays and then releasing them on Sundays, so you kind of know what's been going on in the week. In this week, I am editing Anti-Mame, which was a great reaction for Albert. He had no idea what I was going to hit him up with, and this is one of Vance and my's all-time favorite films. And in fact, Rosalind Russell, if you don't know, is our patron saint of our podcast, um, primarily because of Anti-Mame. And we just kind of wanted to expose Albert to why that movie is so popular with Vance and I, and the fact that it was written by a bisexual writer, a known bisexual writer. So that's the queer connection to it. And Anti-Mame has a few parties, and you can see some wandering lesbians in the background. So you know that queerdom was there, if not fully forefront in the story. Anywho, moving on. In addition to our weekly roundup of what I'm editing for the reactions, just realize that sometimes we record some of these things and I may put an edit up there and then it'll get kicked back and say, no, this has a problem. This has a problem. So I have to go back and re-edit. And by then, other things have started to build up in the queue. I am now going to be editing these as quickly as I possibly can. We're going to have the full still up on Patreon, so you can definitely go check those out there. And you can even buy individuals if you don't want to do a monthly subscription. You can actually buy individual series episodes for $3 an episode or $5 for a full film reaction. So that's another way that you can help support the channel. I am going to be doing a queer history of San Diego, which is where I was born and reared. And I actually was very active during the whole AIDS thing. And so I have a lot to contribute to that just from a personal level in the queer community here in San Diego. We have Vance, who is in Wisconsin, in Madison area. He is going to be covering what it's like there. And Wisconsin has a very rich queer history. He also used to work for the state college systems historical departments. So I think it was the University of Wisconsin at Madison, actually. And he's been involved with them. And he actually narrated a queer history book, the audiobook for it. And I'll put that up here so you guys can check that out if you want to. It's really, really fascinating history that they have. Next in line is I wanted to give you guys a heads up on what we're doing for the reactions and where you, the audience members, can come in and help us out with that. So I've currently set our current schedule. I'm going to put in my eyes so I can definitely not lead you astray with what we're doing. So what we're going to be doing, this is our recording schedule. So at least you'll know what we're in the process of lensing for the cameras and stuff. Week one will be 30-minute sitcoms, and we're doing one day at a time. Grace and Frankie, Big Boys, which is a wonderful series out of Britain that is just phenomenal. And it's a true life story that's been being told in a really clever dramedy kind of way. And then Only Murders in the Building. So that's what we're doing for the first week of our recordings. We typically record 2 to 2.5 hours each session, and Albert's quite busy, so we only do it once a week. So this is kind of the running schedule for recordings. Release schedules, again, will be based upon whether or not I can pass the threshold of copyright and all that kind of good stuff. But this is the recording schedule. We'll at least know what's on deck. Week two is part one of our hour-long series that we're following. We will continue with The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, seasons 3 through 5, and then Penny Dreadful, which are only an exclusive up on Patreon. I whacked the heck out of it when I tried to do it for Halloween, and it just, no matter what I did, it got struck. So I said, okay, I'm just going to make this an exclusive up on Patreon. So Penny Dreadful, City of Angels is up on Patreon. You can definitely check those out. We're going to be adding to that and then finishing it out. And then I'll try to do the original Penny Dreadful, which had 4 seasons. I don't know if it's going to fly, if it's just the City of Angels one that was giving me a lot of problems. So we'll try it. If it doesn't, then that's going to be an exclusive as well. But my goal is to try and get some form of it up on YouTube for you guys. Then week 3 for our recordings, we're going to start Man in the High Castle, which I hope you will be interested in seeing. It's an alt history kind of thing, where if the US did not win World War II, what would have happened? So it's a very, very clever series that's based off of a wonderful book. And then for that same week, the second hour-long series we'll be doing is a show that's called Cucumber and Banana. They were 2 separate shows. There was also Tofu, which I can't seem to source anywhere. But these 2 shows were interchangeable. They actually flowed from one into the other. So there are 6 episodes in each season run for it. So 12 episodes in total. So for the next 12 weeks, we'll be recording those on week 3. And it's kind of an interesting concept. I really loved what they did with it, because you would watch one episode and say a character's walking, having a conversation with their friend or whatever, and they may have brushed shouldered or bumped into somebody on the street and said, oh, sorry, and then carried on. Well, unbeknownst to you at the moment, that person they bumped into will be the next episode's main character. So it's kind of that kind of thing. And it's a really interesting weaving of a story. And I can't wait to start showing that to Albert. Lastly, in week 4 of the month, we will be doing a movie of the week. It'll be a comedy, drama, murder, mystery, what have you. But this is where you come in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up 4 or 5 different movies that I'm pondering being shown to Albert. And if you guys want to vote on them in the poll, then whatever is the winner, that's the one that we'll do for week 4. Now, in this month, we actually have 5 Fridays that we're recording. So I've already chosen one, and that is already in the pipeline to be recorded on week 4. But week 5 of January is the one we will be recording, where I'm going to have the poll put up, and you can vote for it and let us know which one you think Albert should react to. Okay. And some of them, like I said, I have well over 1,200 queer movies that are out in my library, or series and movies and plays that I have up on my media library that are just queer related. And that's one of the things that I'm going to work through, because I haven't even seen all of what I own. So there are going to be several that I've not seen that I will put up, and you will get a first-time reaction from the both of us. But primarily, a lot of them that I have watched, I'm doing it mostly so I can enjoy Albert's first-time reactions along with you. So that's kind of the idea of it. So week 5, look for the poll. It will be up on the community page, and you guys can vote. If you have a movie that I haven't thought of, definitely put it down in the comments and let me know. But bear in mind, it must have a queer tie-in. It must have some relation to the queer community. Now, in the case of like Auntie Mame, none of the main characters were queer in any way, although I guess you could say Acacia's Page might have been. But anyways, but the whole story was written by a known bisexual writer. So that's why I included it. And I also wanted Albert to see it. So if it has a connection in some way. Think Knives Out with Benoit Blanc being a queer detective. That has a tie-in. We've actually done that. It's up on Patreon. I hope to do Glass Onion soon. So, think along those lines. If it's a character, even if it's not the focus of the story, but we know the character is queer, that's definitely in the pipeline for you to suggest as well. But I will put up like 4 or 5 movies, and I will give brief synopses in the each of the movies that I've put up. So if you haven't seen it, you'll at least know what the movie is about. And if one intrigues you that maybe you haven't seen and want to react to how we're seeing it, definitely, you can vote for that one because you'll have a little bit synopsis up there of what it's about. And again, if you want to suggest one that I don't have up there, but I may have in my library, definitely put it down in the comments down below. Just let me know that, what the queer tie-in is, if it's not obvious. All right. So that's it for this time around. Next week, I will have more to share with you during our content creators interview series. We have a section called rapid fire questions. And if you think of like inside the actor studio where James had those questions he would ask every single actor that had been on the show, we have that, and we've been doing it for now 10 years. This is now our 10th season. Our archive of all our audios are going to be going up this year. So you'll have all of the audio versions up on YouTube that are present currently on our website at ropepodcast.com. But I'm going to start putting the audio versions up as the archive section so you can go back, because all of that stuff is evergreen. Those books still exist, those authors are still out there. So definitely is worth a listen to see what they're about, what they're writing about. We also have artists and some other types of content creators that aren't necessarily writers. So definitely check those out. We have publishers that are up there that actually publish queer content, so you might be interested in hearing what they have to say. So that's something else that you can definitely check out. But we have a section called rapid fire questions that are like that. And one of the questions this year that Vance has included is asking them for a family recipe. What do they make that's a known thing for their family? And then Vance is going to take that recipe, if it's shared with him, and he's going to recreate it in a video that we will put up on Patreon. And I'll put a video short of it on YouTube so that you get to see what he's making. And if you're interested in going to see it, you can go up on Patreon and get a chance to see it. It will be free to our production assistant level and any higher level. So they will get it for free. But I think I'm going to charge $2 for his cooking episodes as they roll out, if you're not a monthly subscriber but want to see like a given recipe or what have you. In the case, if it's a known professional recipe, like Jacques Papin or Bobby Flair, whatever, then what he's going to do is find something like it. So we're not actually using a known entity, because you can run into a problem where some of those known entity cooks could have a very questionable past or questionable connection to the queer community. So he will find something comparable along those lines if it's one of those type of recipes. But if it's a family recipe, he's just going to give it a full go and see if he can recreate it. And I think that could be a lot of fun. He's a really great cook. So I think you're going to really like what he's going to be preparing. So that's something new to look forward to. So I will also let you know what we're getting and what's coming up in the next weeks to come. Definitely check back every Sunday. They will get posted. Hopefully I'll have them in the morning because I'm recording this on Saturday night. So I'll edit this quickly and get it up in the community post or up on our channel. But I will then put up a community post to remind everybody to go look at it so they can take advantage of what we're doing in this week, any given week throughout this next year. It is again our 10th anniversary. So we've been doing this for 10 years on a weekly basis. There is a lot in our archive that I will be putting up, digitizing and putting up for everyone. So definitely let people know that this is a wonderful repository of a lot of queer content that people can start consuming. And if you know somebody who's a queer content creator, definitely have them go to ropepodcast.com/booking and book an episode with us. It's free. They just have to tell us what it is that they're passionate about, why they're doing it, and fill out our little form. And once they fill out the web form up at ropodcast.com/booking. It will automatically start the whole automated process, and we will definitely get you booked in for an episode to talk about what they like to do. So definitely pass that along if you know any queer content creators, no matter what it is. It can be activism, it can be writing, it can be painting, it can be, anything that is of a queer nature or has a queer connection to the queer community or for the queer community. So definitely let us know or let your other fellow creators know that this is a resource where we can just gab about what they do and why they do it, and add them to the wonderful family we've built over the last 10 years on a weekly basis. All right. So that's it for this Saturday's recording, Sunday's release. Check in again next week, and I will have more for you to possibly vote on. And I will let you know who our upcoming guests are and what we can expect from them. Okay, so see you in a week. Bye.
Oh, what's that?
Closing time. The bums rush in melody, dear.